So, how you doing today?
I'm hanging in there. Wild morning, but I'm here. I made it. And that's all we can ask for at this point.
You're right, exactly.
How are you?
I'm great. Getting over being sick, feeling a lot better, and
Mm,
ready to get this show on the road.
got you. Well, hello, everyone. This is a new segment that we are doing called Black Nerd Talk. And we are going to be talking about things that we typically wouldn't talk about on our own perspective channels. And it's a way to just kind of hang out with somebody and talk about our interests and things that we just feel like talking about because we can.
Right. And a little brief history. Me and Bun Bun, we've been connected on social media for I would say close to 10 years. And so we've had a good working relationship and just through the whole nerd thing, I'm an interest and we ended up starting doing YouTube around the same time and it was like it's just kind of it was like the stars were aligned how it all comes together and now we can show through conversations the type of things that we have in common and just speak to this whole thing of being an adult nerd and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, I guess you can go first and introduce like your type of your subject matter to my audience and then I'll go second.
Okay. So, what I typically talk about on my channel is I do a lot of K-pop music video reviews. Um, Sometimes it's new groups, but a lot of it is older groups and music that I grew up with. So that's going to be like first and second, maybe third generation idols. The new kids out there, I don't really know them because I'm an auntie. Like I'm starting to age out, but I'm trying to keep up because some of the new groups are cute. So there's some K-pop stuff up there. You see my Powerpuff Girls, you see my Finger Heart, Jonghyun and Shiny. I have my Shiny tattoo, and I'm super into anime. I used to be a bigger gamer when I was younger. Now I game when I can and whatever games interest me. And I love Harry Potter and Twilight and oh, what is it called? The Shadow World, City of Bones. Yeah.
That's one of the Harry Potter movies.
No, there are three different genre series,
Oh,
but they're all fantasy and stuff. So, I eat that shit up for breakfast. I love
okay.
it.
Now for the people on my audience that may not be familiar, is there a is there a way that you could describe K-pop to make it practical, the type of music it may be? Because me, I haven't heard of it until I met you.
Sure. So if I want to be like the bare bones of it, to be like completely honest, and if people get mad, they're just gonna have to be upset and they're gonna have to sit in
Right.
that. Um, K-pop is basically pop music, but in Korean, but it's heavily influenced off of Black music.
Okay.
So a lot of it you can hear like the New Jack Swing, um,
Okay.
rap artists, hip hop. Basically, when you hear a song, so Shiny, for example, was modeled after the Jackson Five, and it shows. And that's
Okay.
why a lot of us turn to gravitate towards it because it sounds familiar. And they do a really good job at it. And the dancing.
Okay. And so I would assume the K is for Korean.
Mhm.
Korean. Okay.
Yeah, it's just
Cool.
like regular music, but in Korean.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
Well, how
Sweet.
about you?
Me. Okay. So basically, my whole subject matter is well. So I consume a lot of stuff on YouTube. And I look at my video game stuff. I collect action figures, and for me, I like to collect action figures because I'm about storytelling, and a lot of the characters that I connect with them for a reason. And I felt like, that this is the things that connect me to these mediums of that I consume. And it's like thinking of someone who possibly has like decorations in their house that don't necessarily have meanings. Like I had say that my actual figures can be my decorations that have meaning, because I'm a person of layers and meaning and things like that. So I speak about the action figures I collect, the stories that are what tied me to some of them. Of course, some deeper than others. I'm a big time gamer. I haven't figured out how to incorporate gaming into my channel at the moment, because some of those videos are really, there's some very high quality gaming videos on YouTube, and I don't want to just put some shit up there and it's like, okay, no one's checking for this because it's already a competitive field.
Mhm.
But I also wanted to capture the whole adult aspect of it, because I see a lot of channels are just based on one particular thing, and I make mentality videos, what the experience of being a Black nerd is like, because I felt like if a person is going to get online and consume a video about video games, something about action figures, why would they not consume what it would be like to, hey, this is what it felt like growing up being a nerd? And I feel like if one person could consume multiple genres, why come one person couldn't make those? Because this whole thing is about the whole growing up Black and managing being an adult alongside with being a nerd. So I felt like my page would be like a one-stop shop of what it's like to be a Black nerd and grow with it, and what it does to you, and the potential obstacles that you may run into in your regular life that don't necessarily have anything to do with being a nerd. So just a little bit of touching on the Black experience overall, so to speak, but keeping it fun and keeping it serious. Just that fine line that we always have to walk. You know. So yeah, and I would say that I'm a big video gamer, and I'm more recently into anime. So I'm not very, very versed in it, but I do have my favorites. But
What
it's
genre of anime do you gravitate towards?
my favorite genre. I will have to say like the psychological. Like my very favorite anime is Monster, Death Note. I like the Attack on Titans. Then I like Erased, and the first season of Promised Neverland.
Mm.
So the things that are like very intense mental, and some of it can be science fiction, because I like a little bit of Steins Gate. I watched a little bit of Ergo Proxy, so I kind of like the obscure titles, so. But yeah, and funny thing is, growing up and seeing anime, my first introduction to it was like the Dragon Ball Z. And I kind of thought that that was like what all anime was. And I do have Dragon Ball figures, but I didn't know that they did more serious. And that was like the first anime I got introduced to was Death Note, and that blew me away. And then I got on YouTube and started doing the top 10 psychological animes, and then I kept seeing Monster, and I watched Monster, and that just completely blew me away. And I could say that yes, if I'm a anime fan, but I'm a fan of the, like I said, like the psychological and the horror, those types.
Got you.
What about you and your the types of animes that you watch? What are your personal favorites or genres?
I would definitely say like magical girls. So of course Sailor Moon. That's my baby.
I
I have
remember,
my
I
Sailor Moon
remember, I
tattoo.
remember Sailor Moon. My niece had it, and I was watching Ronin. I'm sorry, my very first anime growing up was Ronin Warriors.
I remember Ronin
Yeah,
Warriors. I remember the
yeah,
green one. Wasn't he like
yeah.
blonde?
Oh yeah, Sage of the Halo.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that
Sage
was
of the
one.
Halo. hmm You know what's cool about Ronin Warriors?
Hmm.
They are, and see, I didn't know this growing up. Their elements, it has a zodiac type of appeal to it. Hold on, I got my joint right here. So this guy was my favorite right here, Rowan of
Mm.
the Strata, and he's a Libra, and his armor is in space, and I feel like it should have been Aether with his power, but it's actually air. But Ryo of Wildfire, he's a Leo, Leo's a fire sign. Sai of the Torrent, he's a Pisces. His armor is water. Uh, Sage of the Halo, he's a Gemini. And that one was a bit off because Halo is, I guess, more like you could say Halo is represents like the heavens, but it was really cool to find out that there had a real deep zodiac approach to it. This is Kento of Hard Rock, and I believe he's a Virgo, and that's an Earth sign. So it was like really cool when I got into it and started studying it, and I was like, oh, this is cooler than it was just off watching it.
Mm.
Yeah. So because I'm big on what you saying? I'm sorry.
Because I can't say I remember much about it because I remember it being on Toonami, and at that point I was probably 6 or something, so I don't remember it too much because after that Sailor Moon came on, and that's where I was really
Right.
going.
See, my niece was watching Sailor Moon, and then I was watching that, and but like I said, I didn't learn. As a matter of fact, what I just learned that maybe within the last couple years because I went ahead and
that today. I did not know.
Right. That's cool because you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Like that whole concept.
So my favorite anime right now is Cells at Work. And had I seen that anime when I was in massage school, I would have done a lot better on my anatomy tests.
Oh.
So Cells at Work is essentially like, you remember the movie Osmosis Jones?
I've heard the name, but I don't haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. So you're inside the body. So it's all of the cells inside of the body, and they're little anime characters. So there's the red blood cells, and there's the fighter T cells, and there's the white blood cells and B cells. And you learn about what each cell does in the body. And
that's cool.
it's like in the little platelets, and then you learn how everything works and connects and moves. And the first season is absolutely amazing because it's just like this beautiful journey of seeing how the body works and functions in anime mode. And so had I had that in school, I would have known what dendrite cells did and stuff, and probably gotten that answer correct. However, there is a Cells at Work code black where it's inside a body that is not healthy and might die. And it was very stressful. I don't think I've ever watched anything that scary before because the body was like starting to have like a cardiac arrest. You see all of the different cells like starting to, oh my God. I have never been more stressed out watching a cartoon.
Right. Speaking of that just kind of reminds me of not necessarily anime related, but I just had some Power Ranger figures that needed to be pieced together, and I jumped on Netflix, and it comes with the original 5 and the Green Ranger, and I said, you know what, I want to look at it was 5 episodes, all to be continued, when the Green Ranger first showed up, and that. Speaking to stressful, that's possibly one of the most stressful times to be a Power Ranger fan because Tommy was fucking shit up. He came and destroyed. He short circuited Alpha. He made the transmission to Zordon go away. He came and started destroying the city. He knocked the Power Rangers out of the Megazord. I'm like, I was watching it now. I didn't have the same feelings, but I remember being a kid. Like, man, he was really. This was really a very stressful time to be a Power Rangers fan as a kid. Man. It's crazy how we connect to these things, and they just really touch our little hearts.
Yeah, and then they shape and mold you into who you are today.
Right. Exactly. And that's cool. You can find speaking to being a nerd, like I have the Spider-Man tattoo, was the red and blue Spider-Man and the black suit, the symbiote Spider-Man. This is metaphoric for who I was as a kid and who I am today. And it's like, the way we attach to these stories, they to some capacity can give us our confidence and help us navigate through this world. I actually operate with great power comes great responsibility. I actually operate with that as a day-to-day thing, and that just was something that I heard on the Uncle Ben say. But just as I got older, it really resonated with me. So yeah, like you said, this shapes who we are and how we enter the world. We are all our own superheroes in some way or another.
Yeah. So like my sleeve here, I have the Harry Potter, the Disney princesses, and Sailor Moon. A little bit more over here. And I guess the thing that stuck with me for Sailor Moon was the fighting evil by moonlight, because I was like, yes.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. And I don't apply that to my life at all, but I love it.
Right. Yeah.
I watched the intro for the first time in years the other day because I was showing my husband, and after it went off, I was crying because I was like, oh my god, that's my baby. Because I hadn't seen the actual intro in probably over 15 years or something. Like, I say all of this, like I'll be super obsessed with like all of my obsessions, like Twilight and Harry Potter and that sort of thing, minus J.K. Rowling, but I haven't actually read the books since they came out.
So
I'll talk about them like all the time daily, and people think that I'm just over here binge watching and binge reading. It's like, no, I keep it in here, but I haven't actually watched the Twilight movies in years.
Right. I mean, it's always cool to, one day you might be sitting and doing nothing and say, you know what, let me just pop this in and check this out, or crack the book open and take a look at it. Because that's actually what ended up happening with Ronin Warriors. I started watching it a few months ago again. I remember the episodes from a child, but it's a different thing when you're taking it in as an adult versus when your first experiences with it. And I still enjoy the Ronin Warriors. It's, of course, I think it's from like the 80s. So the combat's not cool like the combat is in today's anime, but just as a person who came up, and I also came up in that era where the shows were geared towards like the teamwork. So like Power Rangers, VR Troopers, Ninja Turtles, and the Ronin Warriors fit right with that. Then like the Sailor Moon, it was the group. It's like the whole group of people together, and they all what is it? Captain Planet, Earth, Fire, Wind. What I really like those, and that was right on time with me growing up. So the Ronin Warriors fit right into that. What it's originally called Samurai Troopers, but the English translation is Ronin Warriors. That was another thing I learned because I was looking for it on Amazon, and I was like Ronin Warriors. As a matter of fact, if you find it on Crunchyroll, it's called Samurai Troopers too. So that's for anyone who's watching and building an interest based on the things that I'm saying. So, but yeah, just little cool stuff.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting that some of these stuff that I read as a kid or as a young adult or whatever, coming back to it as an adult and seeing if I still actually like it and see if it still makes sense. There's a lot of stuff where it's like, oh, this story is actually trash. Like Twilight, horrible story, complete garbage, but I love it. Oh, I can't hear you. Your mic's off.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got a call. I need to figure out how to stop that from coming through. Yeah.
And then I realized that Sailor Moon, big crybaby. Don't know how she got up in the morning and put her shoes on. Wild that she's the leader of everybody. But they have the central theme of like the power of the heart or whatever. And she's like, she has the biggest heart, and the power of friendship will always get you through.
Word to Dragon Ball Z.
That power of friendship is detrimental to anybody on the other side of it.
Man, I'm sorry, but that's kind of the reason why I didn't I wasn't initially drawn to Dragon Ball because it was like it seemed like they'll just magically get done because of friendship, and it's like I get it, but no, it doesn't work.
It's a major Deus Ex Machina in every friendship based stories. Kingdom Hearts, don't get me started, man.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts has the same friendship narrative because I've never played it. I've only seen it.
Oh man, love it to pieces. But that power of friendship just immediate. There was one part where you're fighting the boss at the end and it's looking real hopeless, but then you like button mash O and it's like power friendship, and like
All power friendship button.
it was a wild choice.
Right. Okay, sweet. Well, I don't think we should drag this out too much longer. I think that nice little introduction, and we're gonna be cooking up some more fun things and getting some more structures to the conversations, and yeah, this right here is definitely something we're gonna do. We're trying to figure out if we're gonna do it once or twice a month, but however we roll with it, that's how we're gonna come out with it.
Yeah, look forward to it. And if you have any requests of things to talk about, let us know, because there might be some games or some books or animes that we've watched that you want to know our opinions on.
Right, most definitely, and we're gonna be paying attention to it and trying to deliver some new, different, engaging content. And that way you can kind of see how we bounce off each other and see if there are any things that we have in common with our fan bases with when it comes to this.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
All right. Peace.